When Hugo Strange arranged for Nora Freeze to be moved to Arkham City, her husband Victor Freeze, aka Mr. Freeze, escaped from his refrigerated containment cell to find her. But Strange was waiting for him, and he calmly informed Victor that Nora had been transported for her own safety, and that if Victor wished to see her again, he should move quietly into his new home in Arkham City. To motivate Victor further, Strange promised him full access to laboratory facilities in the old GCPD building, now abandoned within the high security walls of Arkham City, stocked with all the tools required to seek a cure for Nora. Mr. Freeze stood alone in his new laboratory. Everything Strange had promised was true. Everything except his frozen wife, Nora, who was nowhere to be seen. Furious, Freeze upgraded his suit's weapon systems, arming himself to force Strange to give him back his wife. Waiting until dark, he marched out of the GCPD, only to be ambushed by a squad of Tiger operatives with orders to take him to Professor Strange. Alright, we got some interesting motivation for Mr. Freeze here, actually establishing how he got thrown into Arkham City.
That's super interesting, because from there, do we know, is there another story where we saw how Penguin got a hold of him? Do we know?
I do not know off the top of my head. I do believe it comes into play later.
Okay.
But it's not one that we've gotten to yet.
Right, because I wonder if then, like, the Penguin thugs came in, took out the Tiger guards, and took out... Because I think in the game it mentions how... sorry for the squeak. But it mentions how Mr. Freeze took out a ton of Penguin's guys, some of his best guys.
Yeah.
And it took an army, basically, to take him down and get him into the museum. And that's where we find Freeze at the beginning of the game, when we get finally to the museum to see Penguin. So it's really interesting to see how he, like, Freeze was, like, not overpowered physically to get put in Arkham City. It was just tactically, hey, blackmail, your wife's here. Come on in and I'll hook you up. No problems. We don't need to fight about this. So interesting how he got there.
Yeah, and he even he like promises to give him materials in order to find a cure for his wife. So it's not just like, hey, I tossed your wife in Arkham City, good luck. It's like, okay, your wife's in here. Also, you know, if you come in, you can help cure her. So it's not just like a situation where Freeze would attack Arkham City to get her back.
Right.
You know, because he would have no reason to go in there. It's like, no, here's your ticket to stay, but the revolving door only goes one way.
It was like really nice, helpful blackmail.
Yeah, it was until it wasn't.
Right.
And then he turned his back on him. And that's pretty much I guess a pattern with good old Hugo Strange.
Yeah.
He seems to stab his business partners in the back a lot.
Until.
Yeah. Until.
Yeah. But yeah, I really liked it. It's cool to see how he got there, because that's what a lot of these stories do, is they give us an idea of how these characters got into Arkham City.
Yeah.
Use the resource and the thing that he cares about most and take advantage of it.
Yeah, there was a lot of psychological manipulation to get certain people inside Arkham City.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And to keep them there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Not every building in Arkham City was in disrepair before the mega prison was constructed. One operating building was the Gotham City Olympus nightclub, originally owned by Maxie Zeus. Although Maxie disappeared in Arkham Asylum after one too many rounds of electroshock therapy, the club kept running in his absence, leading some to think Maxie hasn't gone far.
Maxie Zeus. This is, not to dive too far into the game design elements of Arkham, one of the biggest blue balls in terms of the entire series. I mean, he has mentioned how many times throughout the series between Asylum and then here. They even go in to flesh out his lore that he's, you know, oh, he got one too many electroshock therapy sessions and then he disappeared, so you don't really know where'd he go. And then he never shows up in person.
No, Maxie says, you're right, that was a big blue ball. That's a good term for it. I mean, really, we get taunted with him.
Yeah.
And he never shows up as a side character in anything. It would have been cool to see him kind of at least get something.
Aren't you surprised he wasn't in Season of Infamy, even? That's
where
big
I'm
time. Surprised. Like
Professor Pig,
yeah,
and all these other guys, even Man-Bat showing up. So, I mean, this is a character I think that would have been really cool to like actually have just even a small mission like Professor Pig did, or even Man-Bat, where it's like a quick thing, or even, for example, like a Lady Shiva in Origins, where it's like they show up, you do something, you have kind of like an interaction with them, and at least like this pays off at some extent. We know they're in the world. There are other characters like this, like Prometheus and other things that we kind of get small things
Killer
from.
Moth.
Killer Moth, yeah.
Yeah, they only really show up in comics.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah. So this isn't like a big like Arkham City story where they give us a ton of information, but they do give us something, once again, like you said, that it's kind of just a teaser of one too many electroshock therapies. They think that he hasn't gone far. They think he's around there somewhere.
Well, and that's the thing that sort of makes you wonder if maybe he is in the nightclub.
Yeah.
Maybe he never left.
That's a good point.
Because they say that he's disappeared, but why would the nightclub keep operating without him? Because he was the heart of it.
Yes.
So I don't know. I mean, I think it's up to interpretation. Is Maxie Zeus still in Arkham and Gotham City? Did he just sort of retreat from the limelight after what happened to him in the asylum? Mm-hmm. Or is he, gone? I don't know. It's up to interpretation and probably comics.
Agreed. Yeah.